I am Brother Captain Lucius of the Star Phantoms, and I lead a Soulblade fleet, elite strike forces formed by the Lord Solar to slow down the advance of Hive Fleet Leviathan towards Terra. We are composed of Space Marines from various chapters, as well as Sisters of Battle, Custodes, and other Imperial agents. We operate behind enemy lines, targeting key synapse nodes and planets that fuel the Tyranid invasion. We are the Emperor's shield, and we will not fail him. We are currently on board the Memento Mori, our chapter's battle barge, orbiting the world of Oghram. Oghram is a hive world that was one of the first to be struck by Leviathan, and it is now a barren wasteland covered in Tyranid biomass. Our mission is to infiltrate the planet's surface and destroy a massive spore chimney that is spewing out clouds of spores that block our orbital scans and communications. The spore chimney is also a vital source of nutrients for the Tyranids, and its destruction will weaken their hold on the planet. We prepare to board our drop pods, which are equipped with Death Storm launchers that will unleash a barrage of missiles upon landing. We check our weapons and armor, making sure they are ready for combat. I carry a plasma gun and a power sword, while my squad mates wield melter guns, grav guns, or other weapons that can deliver impressive and destructive firepower. We also wear symbols of Diath and mourning on our armor, such as skulls, sandtimers, candles, and funeral wreaths. These are our iconography, our way of honoring the fallen and expressing our disdain for the living. We enter our drop pods and strap ourselves in. The launch sequence begins, and we feel a jolt as we are propelled towards the planet. We see the Memento Mori receding behind us, and then we enter the atmosphere. We see flames engulfing our drop pods as we plunge through the air. We hear the roar of our Death Storm launchers as they fire their missiles at the Tyranid swarms below us. We see explosions and flashes of light as we approach our target. We hit the ground with a thud, and our drop pod doors open. We exit quickly, scanning our surroundings for any threats. We see a horde of Tyranids rushing towards us from all directions. They are mostly Gaunts, Termagants, Hormagaunts, and Gargoyles. But we also spot some larger creatures such as warriors, carnifexes, and biovores. They are all drawn to the spore chimney, which looms over us like a giant tree. We open fire at them without hesitation, unleashing our full fury upon them. We see them fall in droves as our weapons tear through their flesh and carapace. We see them burn as plasma bolts incinerate them. We see them melt as melter beams vaporize them. We see them implode as grav pulses crush them. We advance towards the spore chimney, cutting through the Tyranid horde like a blade through flesh. We reach its base, where we plant several melter bombs that will detonate in a few minutes. We then retreat back to our drop pods, fighting off any Tyranids that try to stop us. We make it back to our drop pods just in time to see the melter bombs go off. We see a huge explosion that engulfs the spore chimney in flames. We see it collapse in a cloud of dust and debris. We see its spores dissipate in the air. We have completed our mission. We board our drop pods again and signal for extraction. The Memento Mori responds and sends down Thunderhawks to pick us up. We leave Oghram behind us, knowing that we have dealt a serious blow to Leviathan. We return to the Memento Mori, where we are greeted by our chapter master, Achilles Numitor. He congratulates us on our success and awards us with Imperial laurels for our deeds. He tells us that we have done well for the Emperor and for the Star Phantoms. We thank him for his praise, but we do not feel any joy or pride. We only feel duty and loyalty. We know that this was just one battle among many more to come. We know that Leviathan is still out there, devouring worlds and threatening Terra. We know that we will have to fight again soon. We lead a Soulblade. We are Wrath. We take the fight to the heart of the enemy. We are Star Phantoms. We are Death. What if I told you that there is a Space Marine chapter that worships death more than life, that cares little for the lives of others, and that has fought some of the most brutal and bloody wars in the history of the Imperium? Would you be curious to know more about them? If so, then let me introduce you to the Star Phantoms, the mysterious and enigmatic warriors of the 23rd founding. Welcome back, my friends. Today, we will be discovering all there is to know about the mysterious chapter that participated in the Badab War and whose captain, Androcles, gave Huron Blackheart a mortal wound. Let us dive deep into the mysteries this chapter holds and why they are one of the most fierce defenders of the Imperium. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe and leave a comment telling me what you think. And if you had fun, leave a like too. Thank you, and let's get to it. The Star Phantoms are a mysterious and enigmatic Space Marine chapter that has fought for the glory of the Emperor for millennia. They are known for their obsession with death and martyrdom, their isolationist attitude, and their ruthless tactics. In this video, I will tell you everything there is to know about the Star Phantoms, from their origins and beliefs to their battles and heroes. The Star Phantoms were created during the 23rd founding, also known as the Sentinel founding, in the early 38th millennium. This founding was intended to create new chapters that would patrol and defend the borders of the Imperium from various Xenos threats. Many of the Star Phantoms' early campaigns were waged against now extinct alien races, and they often operated alone and far from any Imperial support. This may explain why the Star Phantoms developed a secretive and independent outlook, as well as a disdain for the living. The exact origin of the Star Phantoms' gene seed is unknown, but some Imperial scholars suspect that they are descended from the Dark Angels, the first legion of the original Space Marine legions. This theory is based on some similarities in their heraldry, such as the use of black and white colours and the presence of a winged skull motif. However, there is no definitive proof of this lineage, and both the Dark Angels and the Star Phantoms deny any connection. The Star Phantoms also do not suffer from any known genetic flaws or mutations, unlike most of the other Dark Angels' successors. The Star Phantoms have a peculiar and morbid chapter cult that revolves around death and martyrdom. They believe that the fallen are more worthy of reverence than the living, and that dying in battle is the highest honor a Space Marine can achieve. They adorn their armor and vehicles with symbols of death and mourning, such as skulls, sandtimers, candles, and funeral wreaths. Their chapter symbol is a sandtimer surmounted by two death's heads. 1. The Star Phantoms also have a low regard for the lives of others, whether they are allies or enemies. They are known to inflict excessive collateral damage on civilian populations that they are supposed to protect or liberate from heresy or Xenos influence. They also have little respect for other imperial institutions, such as the Inquisition or the Adeptus Mechanicus, and often ignore their requests or orders. The Star Phantoms value only their own judgment and loyalty to the Emperor. The Star Phantoms favour overwhelming firepower as their preferred method of war. They do not adhere to any particular doctrine or strategy, but rather use whatever means are necessary to crush their foes utterly. They make extensive use of drop pod assaults, supported by heavy ordnance, such as Deathstorm launchers, which are drop pods equipped with multiple missile launchers that rain death upon landing zones. The Star Phantoms also favour personal weapons that can deliver impressive and destructive firepower, such as plasma guns, melter guns, or grav weapons. The Star Phantoms are not afraid to engage in close combat either, especially when facing formidable opponents such as Chaos Space Marines or Tyranids. They wield power weapons or chain weapons with skill and ferocity, and often seek out enemy champions or leaders for duels. The Star Phantoms have a reputation for being fearless and relentless in battle, never retreating or surrendering until they are victorious or dead. The Star Phantoms have fought in many wars and campaigns across the galaxy, often against overwhelming odds or formidable enemies. Some of their most notable battles include the Battle of Harkonneth. In 785 M41, the Star Phantoms' homeworld of Harkonneth was invaded by a massive orc warg. Led by warlord Gazkul Thraka, the Star Phantoms fought valiantly to defend their planet, but were ultimately outnumbered and outmatched by the Greenskin Horde. The chapter master at the time, Zéphon Malvoisin, ordered a last stand at the chapter's fortress monastery, where he detonated a massive nuclear device that obliterated both himself and most of his enemies. The few surviving Star Phantoms fled into space aboard their battle barge Memento Mori, which was badly damaged by the blast. The chapter was reduced to less than 200 battle brothers after this cataclysmic event. 2. The Badab War. In 9-To M41, the Star Phantoms were one of the loyalist chapters that took part in the final stages of the Badab War, a civil war between several Space Marine chapters that rebelled against the Imperium under the leadership of Luft Huron, the chapter master of the Astral Claws. The Star Phantoms were assigned to assault the Astral Claws' homeworld of Badab Primaris, where they faced fierce resistance from the renegade Space Marines and their allies. The Star Phantoms used their drop pod tactics to break through the orbital defenses and land on the planet's surface, where they engaged in brutal urban warfare. The Star Phantoms were instrumental in capturing Huron's fortress Palace, where they confronted and defeated the tyrant himself in a bloody duel, the Battle of Jaga. In 999 M41, the Star Phantoms found a new homeworld in the form of Jaga, a barren and desolate planet in the Ultima Segmentum. However, soon after they settled on Jaga, they were attacked by a hive fleet of Tyranids that had been drawn to the planet by a psychic beacon planted by a gene stealer cult. The Star Phantoms fought with their usual tenacity and firepower, but were overwhelmed by the sheer numbers and ferocity of the Tyranids. The chapter was on the verge of extinction when they received unexpected aid from a Deathwatch kill team that had been sent to investigate the beacon. Together, the Space Marines managed to destroy the beacon and repel the Tyranid invasion, saving Jaga and the Star Phantoms from annihilation. The Star Phantoms have produced many heroes and legends over their long history, some of whom are Zéphon Malvoisin, the chapter master of the Star Phantoms, during the Battle of Hakoneth, who sacrificed himself and his world to stop warlord Gazkul. He is revered as a martyr and a saint by the Star Phantoms, who honor his memory with a shrine on their new homeworld of Jaga. Mortenkul, the chapter master of the Star Phantoms during the Badab War, who led his chapter to victory over Luft Huron and his traitorous Astral Claws. He was a master tactician and a fearsome warrior who personally wounded Huron in combat, awarded with the Imperial Laurel for his deeds, and was granted Jaga as a new home world for his chapter. Achilles Numitor, the current chapter master of the Star Phantoms, who defended Jaga from a Tyranid hive fleet with the help of a Deathwatch kill team. He is a veteran of many battles and a renowned duelist who has slain many enemy champions with his power sword. He is determined to restore his chapter to its former glory and to uphold its reputation as one of the Emperor's finest. The Star Phantoms chapter received primaris reinforcements from Robert Guilliman after the Indomitus Crusade as part of his Ultima founding. The Star Phantoms welcomed the new recruits as they had suffered heavy losses in their previous battles against the Orcs and the Tyranids. The Star Phantoms are a proud and powerful Space Marine chapter that has served the Imperium for millennia. They are known for their obsession with death and martyrdom, their isolationist attitude, and their ruthless tactics. They have fought in many wars and campaigns across the galaxy, often against overwhelming odds or formidable enemies. They have produced many heroes and legends over their long history, some of whom are revered as martyrs and saints. They are loyal to the Emperor above all else and will stop at nothing to defend his realm from any threat. And that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you had fun. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Until we meet again, my friends, keep the light of the Emperor burning.